Mary Magdalene's palm secrets. How she accessed the monad's power. Jesus taught Mary Magdalene this palm secret, the M code that unlocks monad power today. Mary Magdalene's secret. Jesus' M code hidden in your palm activates divine liberation. The M code Jesus revealed to Mary Magdalene. Ancient palm secrets for monad connection. What if the most powerful spiritual technology Jesus taught was hidden in plain sight, encoded in the palm of Mary Magdalene's hand? Ancient Gnostic texts reveal that she possessed secret knowledge about hand markings that directly connected to the monad, the supreme divine source. This wasn't palmistry, for fortune-telling. It was a precise map for soul liberation. The M code inscribed in human palms holds the key to bypassing Archonic traps and activating your Christ consciousness. Today, you'll learn to read your own divine blueprint, the ancient handprint, more than just lines. Throughout human history, hands have been recognized across diverse spiritual traditions as containing profound mystical significance, far beyond their obvious physical functions. Ancient Gnostic communities, particularly those circles where Mary Magdalene taught after Jesus' departure, understood the human hand as a living cosmic map, a microcosmic representation of the soul's journey through multiple dimensions of existence. This knowledge, carefully guarded and transmitted only to initiated students, represented a sophisticated system of spiritual diagnosis and activation, completely distinct from the fortune-telling practices of conventional palmistry that emerged in later centuries. The fundamental distinction between Gnostic hand wisdom and popular palmistry lies in their opposing purposes and underlying philosophies. Traditional palmistry attempts to predict external circumstances, material fortune, and personality traits based on static interpretations of line formations. It operates from the assumption that fate is predetermined and that the hand reveals a fixed destiny beyond individual control. In stark contrast, the Gnostic approach taught by Mary Magdalene viewed the hand as a dynamic interface for soul level, a tool for recognizing current spiritual patterns and actively transforming them through conscious intention and energy work. Within Gnostic cosmology, every aspect of physical manifestation contains encoded information about the soul's origin, its journey through incarnations, and its ultimate potential for liberation from the reincarnation cycle. The hand, being constantly visible and accessible throughout waking life, serves as a particularly practical focal point for this encoded spiritual data. The specific configuration of lines, mounts, markings, and energetic zones on each individual's palm reflects that person's unique soul signature, revealing not only their accumulated karmic patterns, but also the specific pathways available for transcending those limitations. Mary Magdalene's teachings emphasize that this hand-encoded information is neither random nor externally imposed, but rather represents the soul's own chosen blueprint for its current incarnation. Before birth, according to Gnostic understanding, the soul selects specific challenges, opportunities, and evolutionary trajectories designed to facilitate particular aspects of spiritual growth. These pre-incarnational choices then imprint themselves onto the physical vehicle, including the hands, creating a tangible reference guide that remains accessible throughout the lifetime. By learning to read and work with this personal scripture inscribed in flesh, individuals gain unprecedented insight into their soul's intentions and can consciously align their choices with their deepest spiritual purpose rather than remaining unconsciously driven by unexamined patterns. Decoding the divine M code. Centerpiece of Mary Magdalene's palm teachings revolves around a specific formation that Gnostic initiates called the M code, a configuration created by the intersection and relationship of several major lines across the palm surface. This M appears when the heart line, head line, life line, and fate line connect in particular ways, creating a distinctive pattern that resembles the letter M when the hand is held in specific positions. However, the Gnostic understanding of this marking extends far beyond simple visual recognition to encompass the energetic properties and spiritual significance encoded within this formation. Each component element of the M corresponds to a specific aspect of consciousness and its relationship to the monad, the ultimate divine source from which all souls originate. The heart line, running horizontally across the upper palm, represents the soul's capacity for divine love and connection, its ability to transcend ego-based attachment and access universal compassion. The headline, positioned below, and often parallel to the heart line, corresponds to the mental body and the soul's facility with Gnosis, the direct experiential knowledge that dissolves illusion and reveals truth. The lifeline curving around the thumb's base indicates the soul's vitality, its rootedness in divine life force, and its resistance to or vulnerability toward Archonic energy drainage. The fate line ascending vertically through the palm center when present represents the soul's conscious alignment with its pre-incarnational purpose and its capacity to navigate earthly existence while maintaining connection to higher dimensions. When these elements intersect to form the M configuration, they create an energetic circuit that facilitates direct communication between embodied consciousness and the monad. This circuit, when properly activated through specific techniques, allows the individual to bypass the intermediary realms controlled by archonic forces and access pure divine guidance, unfiltered by deceptive entities. The first step in working with this system involves carefully observing one's own palm to identify whether and how strongly the M formation manifests. Not all hands display this pattern with equal clarity, and the degree of definition reflects the soul's current level of activation and its readiness to consciously engage with this particular pathway of liberation. Even for those whose hands show weak or incomplete M formations, the practice of focused attention on these lines begins strengthening the energetic circuit, gradually creating changes in both the visible markings and the underlying energy flow patterns, activating your soul's escape route. Beyond the fundamental M code, Gnostic palm analysis identifies numerous additional markings, configurations, and energetic signatures that reveal specific patterns binding the soul to repetitive cycles of suffering and limitation. These soul traps manifest in various forms across different hands, reflecting individual karmic accumulations and the particular strategies archonic forces have employed to maintain control over specific consciousness. Mary Magdalene taught that recognizing these binding patterns represents the essential first step toward dissolving their influence and reclaiming spiritual sovereignty. Certain marking types consistently indicate susceptibility to particular forms of soul entrapment. Chains, islands, and fragmented patterns along major lines suggest areas where consciousness has become entangled in limiting beliefs, toxic relationship dynamics, or repetitive behavioral loops that drain life force and prevent evolutionary growth. Crosses, grids, and specific mount configurations can reveal where external entities have established energetic attachments, creating channels through which they continuously harvest emotional energy generated by the individual's suffering. Understanding these indicators allows practitioners to direct healing attention precisely where it is most needed. The concept of Christ consciousness within Gnostic teaching has nothing to do with worship of an external savior figure and everything to do with recognizing and activating the divine spark that exists within every human soul, regardless of religious affiliation or spiritual background. This inner Christ represents the soul's capacity to transcend all limitations imposed by the material realm and its governing archonic powers. Mary Magdalene's palm teachings provided practical methods for awakening this consciousness through deliberate work with the hand's energetic system. The exercises she taught involved specific breathing techniques coordinated with focused attention on particular zones of the palm, creating energetic shifts that gradually dissolve binding patterns and strengthen the monadic connection. One foundational practice involves placing the opposite hand's fingertips on specific mounts and lines while visualizing divine light flowing through these contact points, clearing obstructions and re-establishing optimal energy flow. Another technique uses sustained gentle pressure on particular points while mentally affirming one's divine identity and rejecting all false authority. As practitioners consistently engage with these exercises, they often report noticing subtle changes in their hand's appearance over weeks and months of practice. Lines may become clearer or shift position slightly. New markings may emerge, while problematic patterns fade, and the overall energetic feeling of the hand transforms. These physical changes reflect deeper shifts in consciousness and indicate genuine progress toward liberation from the soul traps that previously maintained their grip. Practical steps to monadic alignment. The journey toward full monadic alignment through palm work requires understanding that no two souls follow identical paths, and consequently, no two hands display exactly the same configuration of spiritual data. Mary Magdalene emphasized the importance of learning to read one's unique hand signature rather than attempting to force one's spiritual evolution into standardized categories or universal interpretations. Each individual's palm reveals a customized map, reflecting that soul's specific journey, accumulated wisdom, remaining challenges, and optimal pathways for achieving liberation during the current incarnation. The process of mapping one's unique spiritual path begins with systematic observation of all major and minor features present in the palm. Beyond the primary lines forming the M code, practitioners examine the numerous secondary lines, the development and characteristics of each mount area, the flexibility or rigidity of the hand structure, the skin's texture and color, and subtle energetic sensations perceived when touching different zones. Each element provides additional information that contextualizes and enriches understanding of the soul's current state and evolutionary trajectory. Daily ritual practices, using the hand as a focal point for Gnostic alignment, create cumulative effects that accelerate spiritual transformation far beyond what occasional practice achieves. Mary Magdalene taught specific sequences to be performed each morning and evening, integrating palm awareness into the rhythm of daily life rather than treating it as separate from ordinary activities. These rituals need not consume extensive time but require genuine presence and intention to produce meaningful results. One simple yet powerful daily practice involves beginning each morning by placing both palms together in front of the heart while consciously acknowledging the divine blueprint encoded within them. This gesture, held for several breaths, while affirming one's connection to the monad, sets an energetic foundation for the entire day. Throughout daily activities, practitioners develop the habit of periodically glancing at their palms and using that visual cue to remember their true divine nature amidst whatever circumstances they encounter. Evening practice focuses on reviewing the day's experiences through the lens of palm wisdom, identifying moments where soul trap patterns activated and consciously choosing different responses for future similar situations. This reflective process, combined with gentle massage of specific palm zones, while visualizing release of accumulated stress and negative energy, cleanses the energetic field and prevents the buildup of blockages that impede monadic connection. Consistency matters far more than duration in generating transformative results through these practices. Living the Gnostic M-Code, sustaining activation of the Gnostic M-Code requires transforming isolated practices into an integrated lifestyle where consciousness of one's divine nature and mission permeates all aspects of daily existence. Mary Magdalene taught that the ultimate goal extends beyond achieving personal liberation to embodying and radiating that liberated consciousness in ways that assist others still trapped in ignorance. The activated M-Code creates responsibilities as well as privileges, calling practitioners to serve as beacons of authentic Gnostic wisdom in a world dominated by deceptive spiritual teachings and Archonic manipulation. The integration process involves developing moment-to-moment awareness of the energetic state reflected in one's hands, using them as continuous biofeedback devices that indicate when consciousness has slipped into limiting patterns, versus when it operates from aligned connection with the monad. Practitioners learn to recognize subtle sensations, signaling energetic shifts long before they manifest as external circumstances, allowing proactive correction rather than reactive damage control. This level of sensitivity develops naturally through consistent practice and genuine commitment to the path. Community connection plays a vital role in sustaining long-term practice and deepening understanding of Gnostic principles. While the journey toward liberation ultimately unfolds individually, practitioners benefit enormously from sharing experiences, insights, and challenges with others walking similar paths. Mary Magdalene herself created communities of practice where initiates gathered regularly to study, meditate collectively, and support each other's spiritual evolution. Modern seekers can find or create similar communities, whether in physical proximity or through digital connections that transcend geographical limitations. Numerous resources exist for those wishing to explore Gnostic teachings more comprehensively beyond the specific focus on palm wisdom. Ancient texts, including the Pistis Sophia, the Gospel of Mary, and the Thunder Perfect Mind, provide Mary Magdalene's direct teachings preserved despite centuries of suppression. Contemporary scholars and practitioners continue recovering, translating, and interpreting these materials, making them increasingly accessible to sincere seekers willing to engage with challenging concepts and practices. The empowering truth at the heart of Mary Magdalene's palm teachings affirms that destiny is not predetermined fate, but rather conscious creation, emerging from recognition of one's divine nature. The hand serves as both mirror reflecting current spiritual state and tool for transformation, reminding practitioners that they possess inherent power to transcend all limitations and forge their future according to their highest vision rather than unconsciously repeating inherited patterns. What unique markings have you discovered on your palms? Share photos and insights in the comments below. Let's decode our divine blueprints together and accelerate collective awakening.